What's going on, everybody? We are in the heart of the Gulch. My name is Tony Mendoza, your host, and today I really enjoy going to this person's gym. I live literally not too far from the gym, and not only that, it makes me feel so honored to say this because, learning more about the story that we're going to hear today, we're going to learn from the beginnings to where we are today with my favorite gym, QNTM. We got Mr. Johnny. How you doing, Johnny?
I'm doing well this afternoon. Thank you.
I appreciate it. And I just want to say, first of all, I really appreciate spending the time. As a person that goes to your gym every day, you probably have 1,000,001 people to talk to every day. That's for sure. But it's nice to actually kind of show you my world and what I do over here in the heart of the Gulch. So like I said, man, I appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, good stuff.
All right. So I kind of want to know, I want to start from the beginning. So let's start from Illinois.
Okay.
All right. So where did you grow up in Illinois?
I am from Southern Illinois, and most people hear that and they think, oh, you mean like Champaign? No, 4 hours south of that. So I'm from 20 minutes from Missouri, 40 minutes from Kentucky, down south of a town called Carbondale. The town's Cobden. It's 1,100 people, and it honestly influenced a lot about part of my story. So whole high school was only 200 kids. So my class of 50, no football team like that small. And fitness and even athletics to a certain point, not all that important to my family. But when the school is that small, everybody does everything. So I was able to be very obese, but still play varsity basketball, play baseball, be on band, be the yearbook editor, be, all of these things.
A little bit of everything.
There's only 200 kids, so they have to source everybody for everything. So I say that to, as much as I loved that experience, it was, basically, I never realized that there was any issue with it because I had a steady girlfriend through high school. I was doing all these things.
You had a regular life.
Right. So I originally thought I wanted to go into aviation. I had a friend's dad who had a 1929 open cockpit, like Red Baron style biplane.
All right.
And he took me on a flight when I was 13 or 14, I think, actually. And just, wow, I love to fly. I would love to get paid to fly. That sounds great. Actually started out going to school in Daytona Beach, doing aviation. Year and a half in, decided it wasn't for me and switched to business. But back to the personal side was, even though it was a smaller school, it was the first time that my weight held me back from the things that I wanted. It was like, whether it was a girl, whether it was the friends, the trip, hey, I'm self-conscious going to the beach. Like, it was the first time, wow, all these personal choices that I made to be lazy and unhealthy were kind of keeping me back from the things I know I wanted. From the thing
you wanted to do, the job that you actually fell in love with at first.
Right.
Whoa.
Right.
So was that, so just taking apart that little bit of the story, I mean, did that make you, in a way, I think we all start somewhere, right? So being an owner of a gym and being an entrepreneur, it's just, we all start from the ground level, and it really takes that moment for it to be like, you know what, you don't think I can do this? I'm going to show you what I can do. So after that experience with going in what you loved, so where did you go from there?
So a year and a half in, like I said, found out aviation's a hobby. It's not what I wanted to do for my career. Decided to go back home to Southern Illinois, has a university at Carbondale. Was studying finance for just interest in the market and that sort of thing. But that's really what I took as my jumping off point of, I came home, Christmas break, sophomore year of college, scale says 252. I'm wearing 40-inch jean shorts. I'm unhappy with so many things.
Jeez.
And it was just literally, it's time. I'm tired of this. What do I have to do? And so went on this journey of a bunch of different things. First time, whenever you're that big, you hate doing everything. So it was, hey, just ride an exercise bike every day.
This is sophomore year, right?
Sophomore year.
So you're right under 21, maybe 21?
I'm young I was 19 actually. So
it makes sense. Financial analyst, right? Yes. So you're obviously smart. So that's a fact. No, birthdays. No, I'll take that though. But
I'll take the credit. So you hate doing everything. So it was just like exercise bike, got bored with it, turned into swimming, turned into running, turned into weightlifting, turned into functional, turned into whatever, of just kept finding new challenges. My diet is still garbage because I have texture issues that I can't explain. I wish they weren't there.
Me and you both, bro.
But yeah, basically over the next year, dropped from that 252 down to 163 of just like consistent
within a year
fitness. Yeah. Just excited, learning some new habits and making changes, but really just because of fitness and falling in love with it, and before class and after class and going to the college rec center and just keep it moving.
You got the bug. That's yes, what it was. Yeah. So, I mean, it's the same kind of story where I was trying to find the thing that made me feel good every day. Mm-hmm. And just like your journey in the beginning, right? It went from every different source, from running to playing a sport to then weightlifting. And then what was the initial thing that got you saying, hey, I really like where I'm at, how my body is feeling, how I'm feeling as a person? What was the training that you would do that make you feel really good?
I don't have a single answer for you, though. I'll tell you the thing I miss the most is swimming, just because it's one of those things that, hey, we wish we had the facility for it. We can't, of just total body, wear yourself out. Hey, can you go 30 minutes without stopping, basically, sort of thing.
Your back gets humongous with that.
Miss that, but also that's why even with, people, especially previously World Gym, now Quantum, people think about the weights and whatnot, and I'm trying to fall back in love with that. But even having conversations with my own training team of, I love the variety. I would rather do a giant pyramid set going from 50 down to 10 than to care about like a heavy 4-set, like
you know what I just realized right now, which I think is really crazy, is that you are not only the owner, founder, operator of Quantum, but you're also kind of like you're just one of the boys as well. You're just somebody who likes to go in and with even fitness trainers try to get you to do things that you don't want to do.
Right. And
I love the fact that you admitted that was like, hey, this is how I like to do it. Sure. And even the people that you employ will be like, nah, man, let's Johnny, let's do this a little differently,
Everybody has their thing, and that's what's important. It's funny how many times I've explained this to people of why we even have the variety we do at Quantum. And for the size of facility is, we actually have too many things, too many classes, but it comes from that same story of my weight loss journey of what can I find that somebody will fall in love with and stick with it?
Yes.
Because there's effectiveness, but there's also the motivation piece. And so, hey, I'll take something a little less effective, but I can do it every day with a smile on my face, will make way more change.
Oh man. Well, shoot, that's a pretty great story right there. Yeah. So, okay, so let's walk through. So you didn't get the job, right? And it was due to the weight, right? And that's what really kind of started the fitness journey for you.
Sure.
Now, from there, you go to getting your MBA at Purdue University, right? And that MBA, what was that specifically on?
Focused in corporate finance with entrepreneurship as a minor, you could call it, basically. For the gym, it was the right movement for me. If I was really trying to pursue a career in corporate finance, it was not. So basically, I got an undergrad, BS in finance because I loved the way the market worked. But then whenever it came time to a lot of those jobs were boiled down to being a stockbroker and, hey, selling somebody something, which is not me whatsoever. So in the MBA focusing on corporate finance, it was, hey, I can use the same math, the same science, but to make bigger directional decisions. Like even being with a finance focus, I tell people, I can do math. I don't love math, but I love the decisions math can help me make is really the entire purpose of it. And all
systematic.
Right.
And I can understand your love for entrepreneurship and just building a brand, which you did an amazing job, by the way.
Thank you.
But you think of it not only from a branding standpoint, you think of it from a very systematic standpoint. You like to know, I would assume, you like to know the analytics that go behind how to run a business. Am I right?
Yeah, it's so much of the why. It's because you're exactly right. The way it was described to me by a professor at one point, accounting is putting the puzzle together of what happened. So to use your word is dead on. Finance is about taking what you know and trying to shape the future. So it's really, people everywhere have ideas. I'm sure 10 of your viewers have ideas, but having the idea, we both know, is step one of 1,000. Like, how are you going to make it happen?
It's the scariest thing. It's the scariest thing is starting. Yes. But like you said yourself, it really comes down to, having that failure. Failure is super important with business, and I know you can understand that. Failure is what really makes us go forward even harder.
And that's what I tell people all the time. I talked about having earlier, I mentioned having imposter syndrome. And so I just got to speak on a panel at Ursa last week. And it was funny having this titan of the industry when it comes to customer feedback, the number one Anytime Fitness franchisee in the country, and me. And it's like, okay, what am I doing here?
No, stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
No, genuinely. But that's what I told even the crowd, was literally like, I'm here because of the mistakes that I've made and how I've been able to pivot from them.
Yes.
And that's what so many people just keep doing it the same way and aren't willing to throw it out. I mean, that's even with our gym. Actually, we opened as a world gym. That was actually the second franchise system that I bought into and walked away from the other one before we got open. And even a year and a half in, after building out all of our presence, all that stuff in the market of just, this is not going to work it doesn't represent who we are, and it's not going to work for what we want to do. And so throwing all that out and starting over again. 18 months in, yeah.
Oh, man.
Is most people tell me I'm crazy. I definitely was, but I think it's worked out.
No, well, so let's go to it. So we're gonna get to that point.
Yep.
So from graduating with your MBA, which congratulations, I hope to do the same. Yep. Graduating with your MBA, when did you make the transition to Nashville, Tennessee?
Yeah, I think I'm sitting at 8 years. So.
Everybody who's done, I'm sorry to cut you off. Everybody I've talked to have started their program, did their leap into entrepreneurship in under 10 years.
Yeah.
You guys are amazing.
Yeah. I'll take it. So basically the super short version, after I finished at Purdue, got into this program at Walgreens that they had that was a leadership development program. And all that is to say, I got to have 6 different finance positions within a Fortune 50 company in 3 years. And so I didn't get great at anything, but I got to get good at a lot of different things and see a lot of, from operations to strategy to e-commerce twist. So yeah, just being able to put everything together. Moved to Nashville, frankly, just for quality of life. So there's a lot of, what's the word? Contrast, I guess I can say, in a lot of things in life. So from heavy to fitness person, there's also that small town kid to Fortune 50 financial analyst and club rat in Chicago.
Got it. Okay.
So I had a fun 3 years for sure, with a lot of wasted time and money and things like that. But
we all do. I mean, even me, you saw where I spent my money at, right? We're not going to say what, but
I respect it.
How many times did you visit Nashville before making that leap?
That's unfair. I've been here 200 times, because where I'm from, again, middle of nowhere, Southern Illinois, St. Louis is 2 hours, Nashville's 3. So I came 3 times a year since birth, at least. I mean, the first roller coaster I ever rode was the Hangman that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, there's a lot that doesn't. You can look at this board and there's not a lot that exists.
But the example, I remember the exact moment, in the last year that I was at Walgreens, I had the amazing fortune for a 4-month period to be able to live in the Loop and work 4 blocks away. And so I got to wake up late, walk to work, walk home for lunch, all these sort of thing. And I remember just that 4-block walk, always in a frenzy, always in a hurry, get out of my way, excuse me, whatever. And there was a moment where I didn't open the door for somebody. I know that sounds stupid, but coming from, again, small town, 1,100 people, values of who I used to be, who I wanted to be, but also once I had a family and all that, who I wanted to make sure that they were going to be also. So it was just, not that Chicago was responsible for it, but it was really, Chicago. I always say Nashville's not for everybody, but it's a higher quality of life, and you're only bored if you want to be, but in 10 minutes you can be outside. So.
I think that brings a lot of people to Nashville. Style of living, because let's be honest, Chicago versus Nashville, the pace is slower. The people are friendlier. The food is worse, but amazing.
Yes, right.
And you're absolutely right. So when it comes down to moving to Nashville, we have an abundance of so many things, yet keeping that small mindset today. I mean, we're thankful to have you here in the heart of the Gulch, just because that keeps with the same theme. You guys are open to new ideas, bringing up brand new season 1. Let's see what this guy's talking about. What was the first idea? Was it World Gym, or was it something prior?
Came down here, found just a job, continued to do finance and accounting for a different company, and it was going to the YMCA every day for my own fitness stuff. And the YMCA is genuinely, nobody will hear me bash it, it's a great organization for what they do for families and all sorts of things. Yeah. But having lived in Florida and Illinois and Indiana and Chicago, just different places of the experience was not there. They had the stuff, they had the building, but walking into that place,
they didn't have the brand.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, they do have a brand. They have a brand.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I mean, it's just definitely, it's not a, I mean, there's not indifference.
Yeah. There's no culture to it.
There you go.
At all. Yes.
Community.
Right.
Yes.
So that's really just where it was frustrating the heck out of me. I mean, God forbid the day you forgot your headphones because it's quiet in there. They don't play music or anything. I always joke anytime like the power goes out or whatever. I'm like, that's what the YMCA sounds like.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So it's okay. And it's different for a bunch of different reasons. But I was just looking around the room of like, man, there are a ton of plus or minus 30 people just like me, especially Nashville is such a transplant city that have had better and would like to have better, and different is even the word, not just better, of what their fitness experience could be. And so there's a caption I've said 100 times of like every gym rat dreams of building their own gym, but it was really looking around of it's genuinely just the
it's an opportunity.
It's an opportunity. 5 mile radius.
Yep.
Right? And so it was just, okay, how are we going to do this? And the first franchise that I bought into was, hey, this guy that was really good at a dog and pony show. He had been a Gold's Gym franchise owner. He had sold like 100 pre-franchises to a number of people and just bought into it. And then more and more you start to peek under the rug because I'm excited somebody wants to take a chance on a young person sort of thing.
Understand that.
That is not, again, back to financial modeling of, hey, the brand is not enough. How are the systems? How is it going to work to put it together? Because you buy into a franchise because you don't know what you don't know, and you need somebody to guide you into that.
You're buying when you're buying into a franchise, I would assume, because I haven't done that, but I'm just assuming that when you buy into a franchise, you're buying in for one, the name, and what the reputation of that company is. So it could be anything you want to get into because there are millions of franchise you can buy into. But what specifically brought you into this first venture, the first
franchise? One, call it like I said, the guy had operated 3 of like the top 10 Gold's gyms in the country for a long time. He claimed a lot of credit for a lot of things that still don't know if they were true or not. He had 2 other franchise businesses in the way of tanning and massage therapy, where it was basically, hey, he's going to put those 2 things together with a fitness concept. And it was really during the early days of Planet and before Crunch had even come along. And it was basically the more premium $25 a month gym that, glass everything. Like it was just so much better than compared to a Planet. But then you start looking again the economics, and we talked about rent earlier in Nashville. Hey guys, this is not going to work. Like there's no way I'm getting 10,000 people to join this gym and it be what I want it to be. Just basically, hey, this isn't working out, and walked away. With World Gym, similar but different. World Gym has this credible legacy. It's funny, you look up any picture.
How long was it there? How long was World Gym in? Was it always in that location?
Oh, no. So, that's actually a common misconception. That's important. So,
perfect.
That building, we just opened it as a World Gym. So that's why a lot of people, whenever we transition, we just rebranded the exact same facility. So we didn't move it. So, but that building, it's now 95 years old. Only 1/3 of one floor had air conditioning. The floors weren't even connected. Like we did a top to bottom 6-month renovation to completely gut it and start over.
Jeez.
But even then with Nashville, like you said, with keeping it Nashville, there's so many cool, awesome glass skyscrapers and things going up. That was part of it of let's embrace this old building. Like look at these original wood rafters. Let the building be part of the set piece that most people are trying to recreate with restoration hardware.
Absolutely. They're trying to fake it, but luckily Nashville has a lot of, it's not Chicago look. Yep. It's not, but when we're talking about exposed brick,
sure,
and we're talking about just that industrial look, which Chicago has an abundance of. Nashville is in a way almost there. And so you see the issues of the building, and you said, okay, let's start to create a gym, right?
So with the build out, like I said, happened super crazy. The contractor is now one of my good friends, and he's from local to Nashville as well, but he has these other crazy production companies and things where he's very much if you can dream it, he can build it. With World Gym getting open, it was funny because again, the only thing is the why, and so that was kind of the standard set. So I was just telling somebody this morning about our original pre-sale of, you have this, what looks like from the outside, this condemned old warehouse, and we're sitting there saying, no, it's going to be the nicest gym in Nashville, we promise. Look at these renderings, look at this stuff, and trying to convince people. I think in 3 months of me and my other 2 managers sitting in a tiny home in the parking lot, like maybe 75 memberships. Like nobody believed us. We'll come back after it's open, we'll see what happens. And back to the franchise thing is the same thing of World Gym. The reason that I jumped into that was they had new ownership, this brand that has super great legacy to it. I mean, most of the time, if you look up pictures of Arnold in the 80s, like he's wearing World Gym stuff. It's not Gold Gym, but it's the same guy that created both, actually.
I didn't know that.
So Joe Gold created both. Basically, he had 3 Gold's gyms, was doing well, sold off a bunch of the rights, realized he had sold it maybe too soon, also started World Gym, and they had a weird sibling rivalry through the years. But I just thought there was a couple other people like myself that were young entrepreneurs out in California that were doing different things with it. I'm like, great, they're going to reinvent the brand, but use the legacy as a platform to grow. But really the only legacy they have is pushing iron. And that's one of many things that I wanted our brand to be.
Let's talk straight up about QNTM Fit Life as a community.
Sure.
I think that is one thing that brought me to go there. Actually, this is a full circle moment right now. The studio that we work in today, the reason why I picked it was because it was so close to QNTM Fit Life. Isn't that crazy that my decision, it wasn't even about work. It was just the fact that I've never lived so close to the gym.
Yep.
And what originally brought me to the gym, number one, the branding. The branding is tight. The branding looks awesome.
Thank you.
Now, did that come created from yourself?
The QNTM came from me. The logo mark I'll have to give to one of our marketing companies we partner with who drive social media is here in town. QNTM, I can talk about that for an hour by itself, but it was really the biggest thing is that same reason why we did FitLife. QNTM is in quantum mechanics, it can be a 1, a 0, or both is what makes it unique. And so it's the same thing of being able to be a fitness nut, but also out at,
going out having
like
fun.
Some of us do, whatever.
Yes.
And they can coexist basically of not just, you have to either be a CrossFitting vegan or you're basically, living the Southern life.
Now, here's another thing. Yeah, that's a fact. Now, let's also talk about the folks that go in. So there is a big difference. There is a humongous difference between going to QNTM Fit Life versus going to any other gym in Nashville, Tennessee. One, I believe it's because we are in the heart of the Gulch. Another reason is I think that everyone who does go to that gym feels a sense of community, almost like you're going to a private club. And the reason being is obviously if you go to a facility like this that you own, it's definitely the overall experience. I have the top of the line trainers at any given time. I have the top of the line equipment at any given time. You guys are continuously moving around the equipment, and that's for the club members to feel great while they're working out. And also particularly the people that do come to the gym, because it's not your every average Joe going to the gym. And I love that about QNTM. That deserves its own applause.
The gym, I could not be more proud of, but it also makes the business so much more challenging. So what we basically did was, again, Gym Rat built the place as a gym rat of, hey, what would I appreciate? What would make a better fitness experience? And so it naturally filled up with people that already appreciate a better fitness experience. So that's great. But it also means people that are on average, 40% of our members show up every single day. That's 3 times what even the best Gold Gym number is. So what we had to do was to understand, okay, we're going to have an experience that people can continue to appreciate, continue to innovate, because they're going to continue to change. And as Nashville grows with all of these transplants that are coming in, how much it mattered. So your exact example, it drove me absolutely nuts whenever we first opened that all these apartment communities reached out to me, including this one, of, hey, you should give our residents a discount. I'm like, do you understand a lot of people in there moved there because we're next door? Like, we're the community amenity. Because coming from Chicago, I would always pick my next apartment of where,
shouldn't have said
how
that.
long do I have to walk to the next gym? Like, it's a real thing.
I'm sorry to all you out there that I was also part of the change of everything. Because when I moved, we're not talking about locations or anything, but when I moved to the apartment complex that I originally moved to, that is now the studio of Heart of the Gulch, definitely there was a promotion. There was a change. There was my dad's gonna love me asking this. So there was a humongous change in price. Right, within 2 years, and that's COVID's also included in that, and all these things, right? But you know, so this is the first year. This year, I'm paying full price.
Sure.
And you know the thing is, and I always pay up front. I pay cash. Sure. Just take it. Don't get in my wallet.
Those left.
Yeah. Okay. And here's the thing. So when I made that transition, I saw the amount that you were able to do within 2 years. You earned my trust. You earned the extra X amount of dollars that I pay for my membership there.
Sure.
And that is pretty important. That's amazing because I don't like giving my money out. But the thing is, you guys got top dollar. It is top dollar to go there.
Sure.
But the thing is, you're getting top of the line equipment. Like I said, top of the line trainers, top of the line experiences. And when I go out with my girlfriend and I see someone from Quantum, we know each other. Sure. We give each other the heads up because you know what? We see how much we're working every day there.
Sure. And that's why I say it's the business. We were forced to adapt to it. You know, the Y has something like 14,000 members. I did my original business plan on 4,000. Hey, no problem. We're going to be able to steal that many. No problem. It took us a long time. We're still not even there now. So it was really how are we going to have a more refined experience for a smaller community of people that based on our insane rent and all those sorts of things and the Gulch and the cost structure. Yeah, basically, how do you make those economics work? And so, like, I'm a big car guy. I can't fix a thing, but I appreciate cars as art. It's one of my 3 favorite things.
We're the same here.
It's the same thing. Hey, a Planet Fitness membership can be your Toyota Corolla. It can function. It will work. It will get you where you need to go. But most people are willing to pay double to drive that Lexus. That's 80% the same car, but man, the seats are a little bit nicer. The door closes a little bit different. The engine's a little bit better.
You're viewed a little differently too. Yes. Let's be honest here. So, and I know it's a bad thing. Dave Ramsey will hate my guts for saying that. But when I talk about gyms and when I talk about just the gym that you own, Quantum Fit Life, it's when I say I go to Quantum, I mean, the first thing they say is either, hey, a lot of people lift real weight there. Yep. Or the other thing is, wow, there are a type of echelon person that goes there. Sure. And I don't use the term influencer. Sure. I don't believe in influencing, through my phone. I think influencing comes from real relationships. So that's why I don't use influencing. But there are a lot of good looking people. Yeah. Let's just call it what it is. Yeah. But that's another reason why I moved. That's why I moved to Nashville from San Antonio. Yeah. Because everyone in San Antonio is like Charles Barkley. No offense to anyone that lives in Charles. There is a huge different kind of look when you go into the gym.
So I joke all the time about being, I have a gym that has tanning and I'm the most out of shape and pale I've been in the last 15 years. Like it's a thing. But part of the reason that is what it is one, again, we created a facility that fitness enthusiasts appreciate. So you're more likely to get people that are already, quote, in shape. But secondly, because it's just us and the Y, there are actually... Post-COVID, I haven't counted it in a while, but there are over 30 studios in a 2-mile radius. So,
absolutely.
So we're the bar that all the bartenders go to. So take 30 studios times 10 coaches and instructors and trainers. 300 of our, 2,000 plus members are fitness instructors themselves. Like you said. So naturally, it's just kind of what you see of the people that are always there and there a long time. That's who it is.
And also, Johnny, I got a question when it comes down to motivation factors. Now, we can take this however you want to take this. You can either take it from a business standpoint or take it from just a person that enjoys going to a gym.
Sure.
When it comes down to the people that you're around, when it comes down to your network, I think that's what drives us. You're able to be inspired by others. When I go to the gym every day and I see the guy next to me putting double what I got up, that inspires me. And that turns some people off.
Yes. And exactly like you said, it motivates some and discourages others. And we struggled with that for a long time of our identity because back to the contradictions of I built Quantum from my weight loss story of how am I going to make a place that people that were like me can come and make change happen is one of the more recent advertising campaigns that we did. But it was like, it just became kind of funny to have people, and specifically females, would walk through and say, man, this place is incredible, but I need to go lose 15 pounds somewhere else before I can come back. And it's I
did the same thing before I moved to Nashville.
Yes.
I'm working out at a Gulch gym, and I see the gym that I'm gonna move to, and I said, I bet I gotta get my chest up or something, my legs up.
Yeah, and I don't know how to reinforce that to people. I guarantee you that 8% body fat guy is way more insecure about how he looks and what he's doing than the average person is.
That's why we can look the way we look, Johnny.
Right. Yes.
We're good the way we are.
Yeah.
It's all mental anyway. It's a mental thing.
Right.
Now, talk to me about how social media has influenced a lot of people coming to your gym.
Yeah. And I will give all of that credit to Mario, is our brand manager, and he does it for lots of people as well on the outside.
And also your videographer, is that the same guy?
Yeah, he does a little bit of everything.
Oh, man.
For the most part, he leads it for sure. But he has done such a great job of helping us find our identity and then reinforce it. So now, especially, he runs our organic social media, and it's funny to like every day, or every week, I should say, here's the 4 or 5 people that were mad at us for not reposting their story, because not only did they want to put it that they were in Quantum, they wanted the rest of Quantum to see it. That's right. So it's that see and be seen, but it's not just, we've tried to get better about not just, hey, look at me. It's not a David Barton, look better naked.
It's not look at my butt, look at my arms. Right. It's like, I'm putting in the work, because I've seen and so what I mean by social media presence is that they do a great job of posting stories, posting events that are happening. So whether it is experiencing Quantum for the first time, or maybe it is just having an update on something, some new equipment, or even what I love the most, I got to give you praise for this. It's the COVID or a snowstorm, when they have the ability to say, yo, we're not open, or we are open. Yeah. And thank you so much, man, because I got to thank you personally. And I know other people that are watching this have to thank you about keeping it open during COVID. I mean, that was amazing for us.
It still gives me anxiety. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, we're lucky enough. I have a lot of back to networks. I have a group that I'm in that's about 15 other gym owners, and we were very fortunate only being closed for 10 weeks, and it was very difficult. We tried to be the best citizen we could be, especially being, frankly, a mile and a half down the road from the health department. Hey, we're not getting away with anything because we're not even going to try, because we have to do the right thing. But I mean, we had some members that called the cops on us every single day, like, that didn't want it to be open.
Let's expand on that, though. Yeah, so for the people that don't know, Quantum, during this time, as we were getting rid of masks and everything like that, everybody was getting their COVID shots. I mean, number one thing that they did, made sure that they had everything wiped down, more than I've ever seen any other gym do. They had plexiglass on every bench. So weightlifting benches to even just free weight benches, there were glasses, and I almost kind of missed that, because it felt like you're in your own spot.
We've gotten that comment before.
Yeah, man, that felt amazing. So, allow me to firstly say thank you for keeping that open, because not only did you help people that worked from home, but it allowed us to leave our homes, to leave our apartments, to go into a facility where I see people, and it was it's just amazing. So thank you very much for that.
No, thank you. And it's been reinforced by a lot of the research I've seen lately. It always used to be top 2 reasons to join a gym, or hey, I just want to look good, or hey, I want to lose weight. And now those are both number 3 and 4, I think, based on, hey, I want mental health, and hey, I want stress relief. And people realized not just the physical aspect, but literally, man, I miss that, whether it's for the actual pump, again, back to Arnold, or maybe it was just, hey, I miss those 5 people that I would see every day, and the fist bumps. And
it's a weird thing, right?
Yeah, yep.
All right. Yeah. So before we go in anymore, because I want to talk about a couple things before we go into anything, we got to go into crowd noise. So we got a person that asked you a specific question, and I can't wait to play it. So let's do it.
Johnny, what are your expansion plans for the gym, and why would you expand only 1 mile away from your current gym?
There you go.
Okay. So two different answers to that. One is Nashville is exploding. Yes, no, that's what I'm saying. Nashville is exploding. So, we set out in December to open up a second club, and back to that, most clubs our size would be able to handle double the membership we have right now, but we have triple the usage that most gyms do. So, hey, there's certain times of the day we can't handle any more people. We think we can expand. So, with looking for a second location, Nashville is insane. So we lease our building. We still have a long lease left on it. But the owners bought the gym in the parking lot for $10 million 6 years ago. Mm-hmm. They sold it for $29.6 million in December.
Really?
So for an acre and a half of dirt, it's $30 million.
I mean, it's the Gulch. It's the Gulch.
I know. But so I say that to... when we set out and said, hey, we want it, we have 25,000 square feet now. We want at least 20,000 square feet and more parking than we have now. So genuinely, there are not options. We were going to have to wait 3 years or, far nations and hope for the best. And so
that's about right.
There was literally, whenever it comes to, even with renting, the amount of risk that was going to happen for us to open a second one. Okay, do we go dabble in Brentwood and try to get good at families and things that we have nothing about? Or do we want something, hey, we have these 20 to 30-year-olds that we're really good at, being even only a mile away in the downtown, how do we expand that to just even 30 to 40-year-olds, just a little bit different, or even 35 would make a big difference for us.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah. If you were to go out to the Nations, if you would go out to Brentwood, which is a suburb, and the Nations are not a suburb, but close enough, far enough away from downtown. But if you were to go to those locations, you're changing your marketing strategy because of the people that live in homes.
Yeah.
Wow, you do a great job at really going after your demographic, and your demographic do stay in apartments. So let's go on to the second question of my original question there.
Okay.
So why would you? Mm-hmm. Nashville's forever growing. You are expanding 0.6 away from your current location.
So touch farther than that, 1.1. I'm being nitpicky about it, but it's literally
got it.
Back to the analytics and how my mind works. I have a friend who's the CEO of a great marketing company, and we did market studies that basically show, even within a 2-mile radius of that place, even excluding existing Quantum members, there are 24,000 people now that are likely to join Quantum number 2. So most gyms would tell you you're absolutely crazy, but they're trying to sell memberships. We're trying to have members. And there's a big difference with what you're trying to do and how you're actually going to have active people. You
have a person here who is a member, and right. You have a person here who has bought into the trust, because I've seen the it's not only on entrepreneurship, it's really who you are. So what you've been able to do with Quantum number 1. Now, is there a name for the new location?
So we basically...
and also give the location. So for the people that know, there,
so the new location will be at 4th and Church. It's the entire 3rd floor.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. It's actually only about 10% smaller than the club we have now, but on a single floor. So it's going to look and feel very different. But basically, it's going to be a little bit less class space, a little bit more fitness and amenity space of kind of how that shift, and again, the mental health and whatnot is happening.
Okay, now I got to ask, because I'm sure people that are watching from the gym are going to ask this. Does my membership in my current gym, Quantum number 1, going to the exact same thing? Can I get into both communities?
The current plan on that, and it's all still tinkering because we are trying to get open as soon as possible. I have the first round of equipment actually being installed tomorrow morning at 9
I saw that post today.
Yes.
Hey,
it's been wild. So the plan, because the same thing with pricing, we've increased pricing along the years, but only for new members. We've actually never raised prices on existing members before. And that might have to change in the future because inflation and craziness. But the plan is to basically anybody that's a member before number 2 opens will get both memberships at least through the end of the year, if not further beyond that. And even in the future, if we do charge differently, you're talking $5 or $10 a month to have access to both is really all.
Oh, okay. So it's all right. And then I guess the second to last question I got here is basically, when members go to the other gym, will they expect the same similar vibe? Is it going to be, is there going to be any new tweaks that I'm not saying give me the dirty details. I'm just saying, are there some tweaks to the current gym that is today?
A little bit of tweak. and it's such a funny thing, and I've fought it for so long, but so many people want it. The magic word is turf. There will be a turf strip in there. Everybody feels like they need. That's right. It's not good for anything except for sled pushes, and it's usually
whatever. It just looks cool. Okay, cool. Johnny, it looks
anything
cool.
For the gram is right. So there will absolutely be turf. You'll still have, we're famous for our squat rack row, so we're still going to have 7 fully loaded Alico half racks in there with these amazing platforms they make. Like I said, a little more focus on the recovery. So right now we have the hydro massage, tanning, and red light, and the infrared sauna. The new club will have still some hydro massage, human touch, which is more a mechanical side. A cool new thing I saw last week called Thera Sound, that basically is a subwoofer driven chair with these headphones that make you feel like a cello or like a motivational speech from Coach K or something. Like, it's really crazy.
Well, it didn't work when he won the championship.
Yeah,
that's just
fair. A couple of other amenities and things like that, but really, to everybody's benefit, our equipment will actually be even nicer in the second club than what we have now because of supply chain craziness. That I literally went to every vendor that I respected and said, hey, what can you get me by June 1st was the original plan to be open in May. And so only people that could commit to that are who got the business. So as a result, you're going to see that's why there's a Lyco squat racks instead of the Matrix we have now, things like that.
Now, I got room for one more question before we got to do what we got to do. And I never go through an entire interview without talking about the trolls, the haters, and somebody that just has to talk down.
Yep.
I'm just saying, so how do you keep, as the entrepreneur, as the person who owns the gym, how do you stay clear of keeping according to plan and try to make it within like a couple of minutes?
Yeah, no, I'll try to keep it quick because I am the son of a pessimist. I inherited a lot of that. I'm always an analytical mind, always working too often. That honestly just compartmentalizing it and staying focused on, hey, what's next? I mean, we line out our projects for a year is more than most gyms, especially young gyms, would do in 5 years. And I'm not saying that to brag. It's literally just what's next is always what's on our mind, to the, hey, we didn't get it right. What do we learn? Okay, next thing. And it's just basically being able to just keep looking forward as opposed to, oh man, that didn't turn out like we thought it would. And just we don't have time basically to be
absolutely. Well, hey, that's the way to do anything. I think if being an entrepreneur, being a businessman, being a person who is able to really drive influence, you have to be looking the next step. And like I said, we all make failures in our lives. That's what started the business, and that's what starts every kind of business. And I think that is very important to it. So that's the question for the haters. Now, here's a couple things. So real quickly, I want to ask, I want you to look into that camera, and I want you to kind of say, what to look out for. Is there going to be a gym after the second gym?
Yeah. So the original plan was, even back in World Gym days, was, hey, I want 3 to 5 Middle Tennessee, Little Empire, that I can manage, hey, as long as I'm providing for family and doing the same thing for me that, that was done for me that I want to do for other people, it'd be fine. Then we had the struggle. Then, 2.5 years of just trying to tread water and losing money as World Gym, and even early Quantum days, the idea of taking any more risks scared the hell out of me. Then in jumping to the second one, part of it is we think it'll be great on its own after doing all the research we have. But the second part is we're up to about 1,000 tourists a month coming through that are just on a day pass, week pass, what have you, coming through Nashville.
A lot of money in the city.
And we hear literally 10 times a week, man, this place is incredible. I wish we had one near us. And I've actually turned down opportunities to franchise in Vegas and in Destin and Cincinnati along the way of, hey, we're too young. We don't have it figured out. I know what had been done to me whenever I was a franchisee of 2 companies that I'd never want to do to somebody else. So part of this downtown play is genuinely, hey, it will serve as a tremendous flagship to get in front of more people that would be able to partner with us to actually make it happen.
I love that.
So that's the hope.
That's what I'm talking about here. So Johnny, I appreciate you coming on to the Heart of the Gulch here. I appreciate knowing, and I can already tell that the story is still to be written, and I cannot wait to get more of the story out. But so one thing that we definitely do is every time that we come to the Heart of the Gulch, and in this section of the Heart of the Gulch, is we always do the day in the life. Now, for the people, here's the beauty of the Heart of the Gulch, is that you guys get to see what I see daily. And that is what means so much to me, because I'm bringing you guys into the world, and this is in the Gulch. And so, Johnny, what I need you to do is I need you to look into that camera right there, and all you got to say is, hey, I'm Johnny.
Sure.
And this is how I walk the line.
Sure.
All right. Okay. And if you could just say that right there, from there, we're going to go straight into quantum fitness, and I cannot wait to do that. So go ahead, Johnny. Head right in there.
Yep. Hi, I'm Johnny, and here's how I walk the line.
So we've been here a little over 5 years, and as you can kind of see, this building was built in the 30s, and it's been all kinds of things, from a radiator factory to a milk fill-up station to a hockey shop to all kinds of stuff. It was actually just an antique auction warehouse whenever we found it. Only 1/3 of the top floor had even air conditioning, and the 2 floors weren't connected at all. They were different tenants, which is a funny story by itself. But yeah, we basically transformed the space, did about a $2.5 million renovation. Everything from the all new electrical, the plumbing, the HVAC obviously, but even once we get over here, like had to cut a giant hole in the floor to connect the top and bottom floors.
Talk about the barrels.
Yes, whiskey barrels, and they may or may not be stolen. Actually, is a funny story behind that too. But it was literally, I'm a bourbon fanatic. Obviously, we shared some drinks on the interview earlier, but it was really just the idea that I had of, like, we had towel bins everywhere that looked like you bought them from Bed Bath & Beyond. They were gross and got wet and all that sort of thing. It's just like, well, man, what's more Nashville than whiskey or bourbon? So how are we gonna do this? So we have 7 or 8 barrels. We got some few extras for the other club too. Just kind of towel drops as a way to kind of, again, embrace the Nashville way. The TRX area, right in front of our PT desk, has moved about 6 different times. Alex sitting back here. But just kind of a testament to where we literally bolt nothing down, because I want to be able to, month by month, hey, what are changing trends, what are needs? Hey, that might have been great 2 years ago, but that's not what people are needing or asking for now. So that's especially true downstairs. So basically, most gym owners, what they do is pick 1 or 2 equipment companies, do the whole gym, bulk pricing, get a better quote. But for me, it was really, again, what the whole gym is based off of. What was my favorite treadmill that I've ever been on? Well, this one for walking, this one for running. Hey, the different ellipticals, like that uses both your quad and your hamstring on every stride, whereas a Stairmaster, is a little bit different. So that variety is through, I think we're up to like 14 different equipment manufacturers of just little things that I can appreciate, and our membership will appreciate. How can we bring that variety in for what we're trying to do? The main classroom. So we do everything in here, from boxing to yoga to body pump to grit to, we've done bar, we've done mat Pilates, all kinds of things, even have a virtual setup. Classes is one of the things we've struggled with probably the most, and part of that has to do with our male-female demographic, but it's also usually group fitness is a place for people to start. They don't know what they're doing, they want to work out, they enjoy it, but it's a routine of like, hey, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to be there. Because so many of our people live busy lives just like I do, because so many of our people already have in mind, they're a little farther in their fitness journey, what they want to do. They end up going downstairs. So it's funny, even right now in this empty room, we keep it open because it's kind of become almost a safe space for where, you know, those 2 or 3 people that are nervous still to be out on the floor can come in here with mirrors and work out and basically get a little more comfortable or do their own thing. All right, so the Fit Lab. So the story is that basically we're a world gym, right? And we had World Gym Athletics. We were the second gym in the country to do like their functional fitness that they wanted to do. Outfitted the room, really didn't resonate with a lot of people. All of this was open glass behind me. It was good classes, but not something attractive to people. So the number one thing we got from people, I mean, the walkways right there, we'd have people in here killing themselves in the fishbowl effect as everybody's walking in, seeing them killing themselves. Like, you know what? I feel like I'm on display. I want to work hard, but I'm nervous. And honestly, it's good for me, but it's not that fun. So we tried to take all of that to kind of recreate what our small group training was going to be for the Fit Lab. In here, you have about a 2,400 square foot space. Rogue rigs for that performance class that get used in the other ones just a little bit, but also the gym racks rigs, the aqua bags for boxing, and just really we wanted a room, like a toy box. We wanted a room full of tools for a motivated coach to come in here and have 12 to 15 people just having a blast but getting their tails kicked. Again, this is what everybody gets excited about. It's funny to watch people walk in the front door, they see all the cardio, the room, the functional. Yeah, but are there weights here? Like, yes, we promise you won't be disappointed. I said how much the layout has changed over time. Whenever I first did it, I designed it, hey, what would be the perfect ideal layout for my workout? And then realizing, oh, well, having benches next to dumbbells is great for chest day, but on leg day, it's a nightmare. And how we've moved things around, especially as we've added equipment, upgraded equipment, and swapped things out. So, yeah, but the biggest thing for sure is you can see squat rack row here. So, again, comparing to the Y is the main benchmark, but even other gyms that I've been to, usually they have 2, maybe 3 squat racks whatsoever, and so we decided to make that a staple for ours of, to have 7 in here and have 7 at the new location. Also, it's funny how many people have already said, hey, why aren't there 10, why aren't there whatever, but it's really just, again, even having that male-female mix, I mean, usually of 7 squat racks, it's 3 women that are in here doing strength training, which is just not something you see everywhere, and we love to be able to encourage. It is tricky, especially for our trainers. That's where you talked about the selection of equipment, like why we have 2 of certain things that are super popular, but even then, sometimes you need 3, sometimes you would need 4 of them. It's really why we try to have a variety of things, but also why our trainers and the staff is around to, oh man, well I can't do shoulder press, it's busy. Like, well, here's another way you can do that same thing that maybe you don't know about. We can help you evolve your workout. How many gyms have you been in where it's a mural of the same 3 hot people doing different workouts all the way around of like, I'm sure that looks good in a brochure, but on a daily basis, it's why we even pick the colors of the black, the gray, the white and the wood we wanted the people to be kind of the definition of what was going on, of like keep the backgrounds neutral, but let people and what they're doing speak for themselves. But that's why we have just simple make it count, the logos around. Actually back on this back wall, that's the old original mission statement I'd written it in a letter whenever I was explaining to people why we were changing our brand and whatnot, and really just lifted it, and it became kind of the driving force that became what our mission statement and our values are now. But it's really the origins of that Best Life, Fit Life. It's, hey, what we're gonna do in here is gonna be the best we can make it, but it's really about what you're gonna transform that to in your day-to-day life when you're outside of this place, that why we do what we do.